Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and this is Into the Weekend with BetDSI, the call we do every Thursday with Brent, the headlines manager at BetDSI, where he talks to us a little bit about the betting action he's seen in college and pro football for the games coming up. This weekend, we've got NFL Week 4 and college football Week 5 on tap. Brent, thanks for being here once again.
It's good to be back, Peter, and better even so more that the NFL referees are back.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God. So, you guys didn't refund any bets from that Monday night game, did you?
No, and the thing is, too, it's just a bad precedent, Peter. And you know, we get bad calls every weekend, every game. And at least the letter of the law in terms of the NFL on that play was if two guys come down with the ball at the same time, the offense is deemed to have possession.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of speculation that because the books needed Seattle, that the game was fixed. Was the game fixed? And don't bullshit me. Be honest.
How could we fix a game in the NFL, Peter?
I don't know. You're the bookie, man. You guys are the ones who profit from all this. You tell us.
Hey, you're the one throwing around conspiracy theories. Now, if someone drives a truck into a light pole or something like that and it shuts down electricity to a stadium, that's another different conversation.
Well, that sounds to me like a yes, the game was fixed, obviously, and I'm not going to say shit about it. All right, we know it was fixed. It's all right. Let's move on to this weekend's football games. The big moves that I noticed, UTSA, huge move there. It went from like +4 to -1. That was obviously a sharp side. Utah State had a big move from like -17 to like -20.5, right? Those are two obvious sharp sides, right?
Yeah, the Texas-San Antonio game was with money at +3.5, +3 -15 even, and the only money coming back on New Mexico State is like +2, +1.5, and more than anything else, there's probably guys who took the +3.5 on Texas-San Antonio, taking back on New Mexico State now.
Right. So how do games like that work? When there's like sort of a minor game that takes a big move like that, do you then find that you get like a lot of public action chasing on the side of the move, or do you find that the sharps then pile on again right before kickoff, or what action do you anticipate from here on in?
It kind of, now that the line's at Texas-San Antonio -1, it's kind of at a spot where neither sides are taking money either way. It seems to be like you finally hit the right number. When the game jumps as much as it did, it's big money that forces a big move. So when you're taking money on Texas-San Antonio +3.5, these weren't small, $100, $200 bets. These were big bets. Right. And again, to get it back to go to 1, it was big money coming on New Mexico State at +2.
And then there was another big move, Arizona State and Cal. I bet Cal at the opener at -2. Now it's +1. I feel like an idiot. What's up with that? Did you get sharp action on Arizona State?
Sharp money on Arizona State +3. Yeah, it was all +3, +2, +1.5 was all Arizona State money. We had a little bit of, I'm going to say public money, Peter, don't get offended here, at the -2 and -1 with California. But it's kind of dead now with Arizona State -1, but the early money was definitely sharp money, Arizona State +3.
Really? So you got sharps on Arizona State and the public on California?
Aside from your bet, yes.
Yeah, oh boy. And is that going to be a decision game for you?
No, not really. It's pretty dead right now. We didn't get hit too bad at the +3 because the number moved so quickly.
All right. And then another side, it was speculated what might be a sharp side is South Florida. Now that game, Florida State, of course, I'm assuming that's a big public side. The number has climbed up to 17, and I have to assume that's public action, right?
Yeah, we did touch 17, and we got sharp money back +17 on South Florida, but the count is like 10-1 in terms of Florida State. Money's about two times in favor of Florida State, so it's just strictly public money all over Florida State there, Peter. Right. Not a whole lot of sharp money involved, not until it went to 17.
All right, and then there was an interesting move. Arkansas and Texas A&M, it was 13.5. Now Arkansas is +14.5. What caused that move?
I think people are looking at Arkansas and saying they're just not a very good team. They had all these high expectations, and emotionally they're just down. It's really, it's kind of like a recovery job now in terms of Arkansas. You've got to take a team that was ranked in the top 10 before the season started, and it's just getting beat up, and even lost last week, I believe, to Rutgers.
Yeah.
So it's just people who thinking Arkansas has no life left.
So that's public money betting Texas A&M?
It's not necessarily public money, but it has been big money. The dollar volume is probably 10-1 in favor of Texas A&M. Like I said, we've got absolutely nothing back on Arkansas.
Wow. So that's going to be a big decision game for you then.
We're going to need Arkansas. Unfortunately, we're going to need Arkansas to show up, yes.
And did the Sharps touch that at all?
No, nothing at all.
Really? See, that's very curious because whenever a game hits a key number like that, I just always expect you to tell me that there was like automatic sharp action on the other side. But you're telling me that no Sharps even jumped at 14.5 on Arkansas.
So far, I have nothing on Arkansas.
Wow.
We're at 15 right now with Texas A&M.
Man, That's pretty surprising and telling to me. All right, and then another game that's been kind of majorly discussed is Missouri at Central Florida. Some people speculating Central Florida is one of the best sides of the week. Have you gotten sharp action backing that up?
We've got our count has been about 2-1 in favor of Missouri. Most of that is a +3, -115 where we are right now. But the money's all over Central Florida. Sharp money came in at -1.5. Now that we're at $3.15, it's pretty much balanced. But we did get hit with Central Florida money early, Peter.
All right, okay. And then two big marquee games with competitive lines. I'm not sure what the sharp public splits on these would be. Ohio State at Michigan State and Texas at Oklahoma State. What's the action been like in those games?
Mostly Ohio State so far, Peter. Ohio State +3. We have had a little bit of money on Michigan State when the line was 2.5, but since it's been at 3, it's mostly been Ohio State money. The money's probably about 2-1 as well as the betting count in favor of Ohio State. We've got a lot of sharp money on Texas laying the 1.5. We had Oklahoma State money. And this is sharp money, Peter, even laying it at a pick. And, of course, they came back at +3 and took that. So they're really, really split on that game. We've got a whole lot of money.
All right, and then before we move on to NFL, what are the big public sides that the public's going to get buried with if they lose?
Public, we've got a lot of money on Clemson. They're at Boston College. Line was 7.5. It dropped down to 7. Public, we're even laying 9 with Clemson, but it's just all public money on Clemson, and the only sharp money we've had is Boston College. So we'll probably stay at 7, and we're going to need Boston College in that one. It's been a lot of volume on that game, Peter. Also, another one looking at is South Carolina. A lot of South Carolina money. The count is probably about 5-1 in favor of South Carolina, and they're at Kentucky. So we got the home dog there. Probably not a bad spot for us to be in. Georgia, another thing, a lot of money on Georgia, -13. And you already touched on Florida State. That's pretty much strictly public money.
All right, and then if you don't mind, give us one side that struck you as particularly sharp based on the action you've seen this week. Can be a total even.
Louisville -10. We're still at -10, but that's just because we have so much public money on Southern Miss the other way. But
Really?
sharp sides really like Louisville -10. A couple of people who we have a whole lot of respect for like Louisville there, so that's something to look out for, Peter.
Yeah, I thought.
Another one would be Marshall +17. They're at Purdue.
That's surprising, Louisville one. I personally like Louisville myself, and I sort of assumed that would be a big public side. But you're saying the public is liking Southern Miss?
Yeah, we're getting the money on the home dog there, but and it's kind of balanced off the sharp money that we've gotten on Louisville -10, so we kind of like that. Honestly, I could see us going to 10.5 on that game.
That's amazing. So it's not that the public won't bet a home dog. They'll just only wait until a home dog is obviously the wrong side, and then they will bet it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I don't get into the psychology of sometimes people are sitting back waiting for a number, sometimes they're not. They just like a side. But Louisville Southern Miss has been really a big volume game for us just because of the higher dollar volume per bet on Louisville and just the higher count on Southern Miss.
God, the public is so stupid. It's just unreal. But anyway, all right, let's move on to NFL. I'm assuming that Atlanta and Houston are big public sides, right?
Atlanta's a big public side. Houston as well, yeah. Who else we got? New England, of course. And Arizona, surprising. Well, maybe not surprising. Arizona has been surprising, so we've had a lot of public money on Arizona. Sharp money on Miami +7, though. That's a game where we're sitting at 5.5 right now just because the sharps we respect so much are on Miami. But I can see us needing Miami in that game pretty big because at 5.5, it's just all Arizona money. And if that line went back to 6, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
All right, great. Finally, something you said makes me feel good because I did myself pound Miami at +7 when it opened. But that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, so I'm assuming that like Houston and Atlanta are also both getting put in every teaser, and that if both those teasers cover, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, we've got a lot of public money on Atlanta, and we did get a little bit of sharp money when the line went down to 6.5, and it went down to 6.5 because we got initial sharp money on Carolina +7.5. But that's an interesting game where we've had sharp money +7.5, sharp money laying the 6.5, and the public on Atlanta. So as long as that game doesn't end Atlanta by 7, we should be okay with that one.
Right, and that'll be a disaster if it does. The Sunday night game is an interesting one. Giants-Eagles, a very competitive line. Vic versus Eli Manning. I'm guessing that's going to be a huge volume game with the public split and the sharps not touching it too much.
Actually, no, Peter. The sharps I'm surprised at myself because it's kind of tough to like Philadelphia, but the sharps really like Philadelphia. A couple of guys we respect a lot have laid Philadelphia -1, and we're up -1.5 right now. But the public money is just drowning the Giants, and the Giants, they're getting a little bit healthy. They should get Knicks back, and Eagles haven't looked very good at all. but the Sharps really like them. So we'll probably hold the -1.5 or -1, and we'll need the Eagles and the Sharps to win.
All right, and then is there any other notable Sharp or public action from the NFL card that caught your eye?
Well, another good situation for us is the Green Bay New Orleans Saints game. We have Green Bay -7.5. We have sharp money taking New Orleans plus the 7.5, and a whole lot of public money back in Green Bay. So again, that's a position, Peter, where we're going to need the Sharps to win, and we'll feel comfortable with that, of course.
Okay.
That line might touch down to 7 on Green Bay, but if you can go out and get the 7.5 with New Orleans, you'll be with the Sharps on that one. And we actually, surprisingly, we saw sharp money on Kansas City Chiefs at home plus 2.5. They were taking it earlier, and lines Kansas City -1 now.
All right, thanks once again for all this great information, and we'll talk to you next week, Brent.
Bye.